Welcome into the Fan Addict Sports Channel for sports fans by a sports fan. It's your boy Coach I, where all my dogs at. All right, we're here with another game preview. We're going to preview this Bama Florida Gators game coming up. It's a key matchup in the SEC for both teams, that is. So to look to see who is a pretender, who's a contender, and I brought some help along again, back again in the Fan Addict. Got my boy Johnathan. He's going to shed some light on this situation and see what he thinks about the Gators against the Crimson Tide. What's going on, Johnathan?
Another day, man. Can't wait for this weekend. No cupcake team, right? No
Man,
Mercer.
yes,
So
I
I
know,
love these type
right?
of weeks.
Exactly. I think against Mercer, man, some of the guys, it's kind of hard for them to get up against Mercer. They like it's Mercer, you know what I'm
I'll give my opinion on that in a minute if you want.
saying?
I'll be happy to
Yeah.
share it.
All right, we'll definitely do that. First, what we're gonna do is we'll talk about what you thought about the offense and defense for Alabama through two games, and what you might think needs to improve or things that you just see about that. So, starting with the offense, man, what do you see with the offense that you like and things that you don't like?
So let me just break it down this way. The offense looked amazing against Miami. They looked like they came to play. Right, Bryce Young was super efficient. Jameson Williams put on a little bit of a show. Showed his speed. Running game was pretty efficient. Mercer game, complete opposite. Came out slow. And as an Alabama fan, I can handle slow for one drive, maybe two drives, but an entire quarter getting your first score off a block punt. Um, I don't know, man. I had a lot of fans kind of reeling at me a little bit when I said, well, maybe Bryce Young isn't as good as advertised. Maybe
Mm.
he just was well prepared against Miami through all that spring, right?
Yep.
And game plan against Miami, and now we're about to see the real test against Florida, and we're about to see how good that O line really is. Because the one thing I am concerned on when it comes to the offense, man, it's the offensive line. I've been preaching it all the way through camps.
Mm-hmm.
I preached in the A-Day game, and I said the same thing. And sure enough, even against Mercer, I'm like, Mercer's ends shouldn't be getting around our tackles, man. It just shouldn't happen that way. And it showed out when they actually pulled Chris Owens, granted, who was supposed to start at center but moved into right tackle after injuries, pulled him completely from the game and replaced him. Yeah, so I don't know what to expect on the O-line against Florida, but I'm a little bit worried about that, to be honest with you.
Okay. I'm definitely with you. I mean, it starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball, actually. I mean, I
Yeah.
think a lot of college football we've watched so far has shown as much. I mean, UCLA, LSU, UCLA dominated in the trenches.
Iowa.
Iowa, yes, Iowa State. That's why I picked Iowa, because I felt like they was going to dominate in the trenches. I mean, we didn't score an
Yep.
offensive touchdown against Clemson, but our offensive line held up. As far as letting JT have some time to throw the ball, and
Yeah.
their offensive line did not hold up. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And like you said, against Mercer, it doesn't matter if the dude was supposed to start at center and now he moves to tackle, or you got the second string in.
Yeah.
None of these, you know what I'm saying? It's Mercer, so they shouldn't.
Yeah. You're right.
So they shouldn't be getting around. So now the defense has been looking good for the most part. I know, but I know Nick Saban wasn't happy with the 14 you gave up on Saturday.
No, here's what I'll say to this because Nick Saban said he wasn't happy. For the first time I've ever heard Nick Saban give this was almost an excuse. He said, I understand we gave up 14, but we didn't start either corner. Jalen Armour Davis and Josh Joe both were injured, actually. Little injuries, but he wanted to rest them. And there was a couple on the defensive line as well. So, but the only thing, I'll be honest with you, the one thing everybody should be worried about on that defensive line is going to be Will Anderson.
It,
You need to see him line up at the outside linebacker position and put his hands on the ground. Plain and simple.
did he get hurt Saturday, or did he come out of the
Yeah,
game?
he got hurt. He had a helmet to the knee,
Okay,
and he came out actually early in the game. I believe it was late first or early second.
okay.
Came out of the game. I thought it was worse than what they're giving now because it looked really bad. The helmet went straight into the knee, and it kind of moved around funny. His leg did, and I'm like, oh gosh. And yeah, exactly. I immediately went to worst case scenario,
Yep.
and they said now he's day to day, but it looks like he may play in the game. But this is the way Saban is. He's a lot like Bill Belichick. he's not going to give you really any medical information or
No,
if somebody's going to play.
no.
He's going to dance around it all the way to a game day.
He is, and Kirby Smart takes his lead. I'm like, I don't even know why y'all interview Kirby Smart. I'm like, bro, he's not
Exactly.
really gonna tell you anything. What he likes to
Nope.
say is he's working better. He's working towards getting better every day. I'm like, everybody's
Every day.
working better, to get better every
Yep.
day. So,
Plain and simple.
so I know you done scouted the Florida offense and defense out.
Oh yeah.
Tell me if any. Where do you see that they may be able to, gain some yards on offense with Florida?
Well, I mean, it's going to be the most obvious. It's going to be a running quarterback. Alabama's Achilles heel in the past, and people are saying now, like, oh, it's no longer the case. Yeah, it can be. It can be really quick, actually. Anthony Richardson, he's a different type of animal, man. When you watch him run, the way he moves, to me, it looks better than Cam Newton. I mean, the separation he can pull and that burst he has off the line running the ball is insane. And he has an arm.
Yep.
75 yards to Copeland on I think his first throw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go back and watch the film. It's pass interference all day long when the receiver pushed off the DB. But either way, that's nothing against Anthony Richardson. He put it in a basket.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. So he can throw. Emory Jones, he won't. If you're gonna beat Alabama, it ain't gonna be with Emory Jones. Look, 4 interceptions, 2 against FAU, 2 against South Florida. He has lapse in judgment. He struggles with zone defense, and it's obvious. I fully expect as the game goes on, if Emory Jones's habits just tend to come up during the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I mean, Anthony Richards got hurt. Of course, Dan Mullen's keeping that close to the vest as if that means anything.
Yep.
Like I think we talked about off camera. Like Nick Saban's preparing for
Yep.
Emory Jones, Anthony Richardson, and whoever else you got listed on on the roster at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
After watching the game, Emory Jones will have a great throw, and then he'll come back and have 2 or 3 bad throws, and one of those bad throws will be an interception, and that's something you can't do against a talented defense like Alabama. So I don't think Emory Jones is the way they want to go. You know what I'm saying? As far as that's concerned, they're hoping. I know Dan Mullen is definitely hoping Anthony Richardson is healthy. So now, what key players? Let's move on to some key players. What key players have you been impressed with? And then we'll touch on some key players for Alabama you haven't been so impressed with.
So, I mean, the key players for Florida, it's obvious. I'll be honest with you, it's Anthony Richardson all day. I don't know who saw this kid coming. And give respect to Emory Jones. The kid sat and waited 3 years for his spot.
Yeah.
So I'm not hating on Emory Jones, by the way, at all. I respect a dude that could sit there and wait his turn. He came in as a 5-star recruit. Like, I think he was number 1 or number 2 quarterback. Dual threat. So respect to this kid. But the facts are this. When you see Anthony Richardson get on the field, it's not that he's making better plays. You're seeing the offense turn into new energy. You're seeing the energy with him on the offense, and it's at another level, bro.
Yep.
It feeds into the offensive line. It feeds into the running game. It's like when he steps on the field, it's like Cam Newton. He had that effect of just everybody gets better around him.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Anthony Richardson is that dude. And I do think he can make that much of an impact as a freshman, redshirt freshman, obviously. But Dan Mullen, we know he's a QB whisperer, just like Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian, same thing. But outside of him, Copeland at wide receiver, he's a one-man show.
Yep.
Putting on, 30 yards a catch or some crazy stat like that. He's basically their deep man.
Mm-hmm.
As far as running back, Malik, he hasn't had to do much simply because you got Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones running the ball.
Yeah.
As far as the defense goes, I'm not going to point to one guy. I lied. I will. I'll go ahead and do it because I think he's one of the best D linemen right now in the country. And we're talking about Carter on that D line for Florida. This dude is a monster, bro, at getting after the quarterback. I believe he already has 3 or 4, maybe even 5 sacks. I don't know. All I know is every time he gets on the field on the D-line, you see him coming through a hole somewhere, and it's like, holy crap. The dude, he's like, I don't know who to comp him to, really, for a Georgia player, but he's like a big dude that can just move around smooth, like silk.
I got you.
Put your hands on him, but he slips through, right? He's going to be an impact player. I see it definitely in this game on the D line.
Okay. Well, what about on the Alabama side? Who needs to bring the A game this Saturday for you guys to play like Bama?
Anybody in the slot.
Okay.
Uh, Plain and simple, number 24, I don't know his name. I'll be honest with you. On Florida, the cornerback,
Yeah.
the kid struggles. He takes bad angles. He has a hard time getting off blocks. And typically he lines up and he lines up over the slot. When they're not playing man, when he's playing zone, he's backed up a little bit, almost in that star type position. But when I was watching the South Florida game, same thing with FAU, he was getting killed,
Yeah.
and I don't understand how. All I know is maybe he's going to get schooled up this week. Maybe he's a freshman. I haven't looked that much into it. But so, with that being said, I would expect more out of a Slade Bolden. I would expect more out of a JoJo Earl.
Okay.
Force this kid into a bad position like we do typically with linebackers. So move him around. Because if I could see it on game film, these professional scouts are seeing
Exactly.
this. There's no way they're not picking that up. But as far as offense, I feel like that, and we got to have more than a mediocre run game. I'm tired of seeing mediocre run games from Alabama. It's getting aggravating at this point. Past couple of years, it's been that. Outside of Najee Harris doing his thing,
Yeah.
that's because Najee does Najee. That's what I always said. Brian Robinson, I need to see more out of him.
Yep.
I need to see more out of Jason McClellan. Trey Sanders, this is your moment, bro, to take your spot back next year. I need to see something, right? Like, it's one of those type of deals. But as far as defense, I think you're going to see the same thing, bro. It's a lockdown defense.
Yeah.
Getting after the quarterback, disciplined secondary.
Okay.
They're experienced now.
So
yeah.
In our previous video, you did mention how Alabama's Achilles heel over the course of Nick Saban's, tenure has been, to be, I guess, susceptible to the running quarterback, I should say. So how do you think this defense, how you think this defense fares against if Anthony Richardson is 100% healthy?
So let me speak on this because I feel like this is not said enough. And you're going to be able to relate to this a lot as well. When your primary defense is man on man, man beater, right? The plain and simple fact is no matter what you play, if you're playing man, you're going to be susceptible to the running quarterback. Why? Because typically the linebackers are turning their back at some point.
True.
Typically that star position is turning their back at some point, which is going to open a lane.
Yep.
So understanding the defense first helps you understand why you're susceptible. Now, to alleviate this problem, typically what we went out and got is a more hybrid, more athletic outside linebacker, Will Anderson, Chris Allen, Drew Sanders, these type players, to where when they get on the outside, they can keep these guys contained and force them on the inside. And when they do force them on the inside, that's typically when you do see a player like Christian Harris.
Yep.
Super fast, super mobile. They can get to the quarterback. You're not going to stop them. We're not going to stop Richardson if he's healthy. He's going to get his yards. Even Emory Jones, he's going to get his yards. But don't let them beat you in the game with just running down the field like Johnny Manziel, like Cam Newton did.
Mm-hmm. Like you alluded to, I think the ways to contain a running quarterback, especially of the Anthony Richards, Emory Jones, ilk, is to have your edge rushers contain him and push him up through the middle, and hopefully one of your defensive linemen can, or if you have to, resort to having a spy, one of the linebackers or the star position, but it's got to be somebody really athletic to be able to cover a lot of ground because
he's fast.
So I think you're definitely spot on. Now, I do know that you tend to upset the Alabama faithful from time to time.
I do that.
So what are they saying about Florida that you've been hearing? Are they confident that it's going to be a drubbing, or are they worried at all?
No, it's a drubbing. According to everybody, it's going to be a skull dragging all the way through the swamp. But is once again me naturally upsetting the crowd, right? Just one simple either tweet or like I did in my Facebook group of almost 15,000 here, simply saying, "Hey, we don't know what to expect out of Anthony Richardson. You don't have film on this kid except during these 2 games against cupcake teams. So the kid has an arm, the kid can run. Who knows? This is one of those where you're going into a game where there's a lot of unknowns." And the last time that happened, the last time it was really this unknown was Johnny Manziel in Texas A&M. And I felt like we woke up really quick, the fan base did, and was like, oh, wow, maybe we can be beat. it was one of those type things. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't try to talk down on nobody, but sometimes you just got to realize, man, you're not going to beat everybody 50-0. And I've already pointed this out before. This isn't the same offense as last year. Mac Jones is going the Heisman winner Devontae Smith's gone. You know what I mean? Brand new. Bill O'Brien, by the way, is already. Dude, they're already starting the rumors. Bill O'Brien to USC. So you're already talking about distraction.
Bruh,
So
I swear y'all change offensive coordinators like people change underwear, man. It's crazy.
I don't think he'll end up at USC, but either way, that rumor mill is already starting, and it's already getting aggravating. And but yeah, that's pretty much the answer to that question. It's a lot of people just saying we're going to beat the crap out of them. I'll be honest with you, I had people on there talking about like 56-3 and stuff like that. I'm like, have you watched any film at all? These guys can move the ball.
Like,
Don't think
exactly. That's kind of like on our last video. I think a couple of people got in the comments talking about how we were all talking about, me and you were saying that this is not the same Alabama offense, and they's like, well, they say that every year. They say that every year. I'm like, bro, y'all lost a lot. Y'all lost like every offensive individual award winner that you could have in college in the same season.
We literally won every award on the offensive side except the Mackey. Let's put things in perspective. And all those guys are gone.
All of them.
So all of them. And including best O-line, by the way, because our O-line's not even in the top 10 right now. So I didn't want to get into that. That's a whole different subject on its own. But either way.
Yeah. So with all that said, man, tell us how you see this game playing out, and then end it with what you think the prediction actually is.
It's a hard one only because you don't know. It's kind of like against Miami. We didn't know the health of Derek King, who come to find out he wasn't completely healthy. It's the same thing in this one. I don't know because Richardson has enough impact, even as a backup in this game, to where he can change the game. You know, call it what you want. Dan Mullen, if he sees Richardson scoring points and Emory Jones not, Richardson's staying in the game. But with that being said, anytime you're talking about a hamstring injury, because he clearly pulled up his hamstring when he was running, that's going to be a very sensitive area.
And if they play him, that's going to hinder his recovery too. Like if it's exactly like you say, hamstrings linger, and if you play him and he strains, he's got to look forward to the rest of the season. But hey, it's Alabama. I don't know if I sit him either.
Yeah, and well, here's my take on it. I'll be honest with you. I would rather sit him and take the L now, early in the season, and try to recover through the rest and try to beat. I hate to say it, but try to beat Georgia.
True.
You know what I mean? Versus
you're right. Because if they lose to y'all, run the table, beat us, then they actually win the East. So. Yeah, but I don't think a lot of coaches, look at it like that. I think Dan Mullen sees that A on the side of the helmet. I mean, the number on the side of the helmet, the red, the crimson, and white, and he's like, I'm gonna try to go for it. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. Like I say, hamstring is nothing to play with. If you don't tend to it right, then it'll linger all season. And he definitely doesn't want to have. And man, also, if it's not 100%, I don't think he wants them out there against that Bama defense anyway. I mean, because that's. Bad idea, because that could lead to another injury. So,
and that's what I was going to allude to. When you're talking about how this game's going to go, Emory Jones is going to get the start. 100%, I believe that. I do believe Emory Jones is going to struggle against our defense, and I'm not just saying this just to say it, but he did have his struggles against Florida Atlantic and South Florida. And I'm not trying to knock these guys down, but this is different. Like our defense is better than them. Let's be real about this. We have better athletes than them. And when you're talking about Malachi Moore, Deion Branch, Jordan Battle, these guys being healthy, fully healthy now, Jalen Armour Davis finally back on the field with Josh Jobe, it's a completely different monster. And if Will Anderson steps on the field, and like I said, this game could turn pretty quick. But I will say that they are in the swamp. They're in Florida. They're in Gainesville. So you have to give them a little bit of a nudge on that. You got to give them a little bit of a comp. But I feel like the offense will go up and down.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. Florida's going to score points, but I don't see it consistently. They're going to have a big run that's going to lead to a field goal. They'll have a big run that's going to take them down, and then they'll score a touchdown. You know what I mean? But it's not going to be consistent. The big pickup for me watching both those games for Florida, and I know a lot of Florida fans are going to be screaming right now, like, oh, what are you talking about? Well, go and watch the games. Your defensive backs have a hard time getting off wide receivers when it comes to blocking for screens. I'm telling you right now, they're not quick to come over. it's slow moving to the ball. There was only 1 or 2 plays where they really came in and got after South Florida on these screen plays. And if you go and watch, I think it's the second, third, and fourth drive, South Florida picks them apart with screen plays and quick outs. It was horrible. I was like, okay, I get it. You're playing man and you still can't cover this? Like even close, you can't come off these dudes? It looked like their DBs were running in sand. So that's what I'm going to say about that. And I hate to say it, but one thing we're great at is these slants, quick outs, and then we're going to blow it over the top at some point.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Bro, pick plays. I hate to say pick plays, but that's what they are. One wrong step and it's gone. So, but yeah, I feel like that's honestly the way it's going to go. Alabama will probably establish the run early, is what I expect. 4 to 5 yards to carry, bring up the safety over the top. It's going to be the same story, different day, just not as bad as typical. Okay. I don't think I give them credit. I'll give Emory Jones, Anthony Richardson, and that offense some credit for scoring the points they're scoring.
I got you.
So, but you ready for the prediction?
Yeah, give me the prediction. Okay. Now I'll tell you what mine is.
All right, so I got Alabama winning, and I'm not just saying, of course, because I'm an Alabama fan, because this is really what I think. I got them winning 37-24.
Okay, you got them winning by about 2 touchdowns. I was gonna go like 31-17 because I just don't know if Alabama's defense is gonna give up more than 20 points. So not to this Florida team anyway. So that's what. So we're about in the same range, you know. So
yeah, I personally, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because you know I know you probably called the dogs off, but as far as offense, you scored 35 on Mercer. Like I say, you probably called the dogs off. Florida definitely has way better, you know, athletes than, you know, Mercer. So you know what I mean. So I think y'all are still scoring the 30s, and they'll probably score 2 touchdowns and a field goal. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it all comes down to one question, and I keep saying it over and over again. That's going to be, you know, Anthony Richardson's health, Will Anderson's health. This is probably a game that's, I'm not going to say dependent, but it's heavily weighed in on, are these guys healthy?
True.
And it's crazy to think in week 3 this season, so much is on the line already for this. So, but what do you expect, I guess, at this point?
Hey, it's second week in a row that we got a big SEC game, Missouri and Kentucky. I mean, because I had both of those guys in the top 4 on in the East. So I actually got Missouri coming in second, even though they lost. I'm going to stick by that, even though they lost to Kentucky. We don't know what the rest of the season holds. They almost pulled off that win, but that was a huge game. And then y'all turn around, y'all got them. Yep. You know, it's getting into the nitty gritty. We got to separate the contenders from the pretenders, man. So,
and I called it. I'm going to say it now. I said at the beginning of the year, A&M was fluff. I don't want to hear no more about it. I don't care if Haynes King got hurt. I get it. 10 points against Colorado.
Yeah,
you didn't want to do anything when he was in. So yeah, get out of here with that crap. By the way.
Well, until we get to that week and we do a preview on them. So for my boy John, this is Coach I. Everybody, YouTube land, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you don't like what he said and you're an Alabama fan, get in the comments. He will be there waiting. He is ready for the smoke. And if you're a Florida fan, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Take the L and hold it.
That's it for us, Fan Addict. We are out of here.